They call me Felix Mercer, a private eye scraping by in the back alleys of Atlantic City. I don't chase cheaters or tail husbands anymore, too much grief for too little pay. But when a nervous-looking dame in a flapper dress slid into my office one foggy November evening talking about something out in the Pine Barrens, well, curiosity's a hell of a thing. "Mr. Mercer," she whispered, her fingers tightening around a yellowed envelope. "My brother. He went out there to find the Pine Devil, but he didn't come back." The Pine Devil. I had heard the stories. A thing with glowing eyes and a howl that made strong men weep. Farmers whispering about livestock turning up drained of blood. Hunters vanishing without a trace. "Ma'am, you need a ranger, not a gumshoe." I tapped a lucky strike from my crumpled pack. "Please," she pleaded. "He was all I had left." I exhaled a slow cloud of smoke. The envelope she handed me was filled with old newspaper clippings, strange sketches, and a torn letter scrawled with, "I found it. God help me." Damn it, against my better judgment, I took the case. Chapter 1. The Barrens. The Pine Barrens weren't just woods. They were a graveyard of lost things. Trees gnarled like old men's hands. Dirt roads that led nowhere. The kind of place that swallowed you whole. I found myself bouncing along a back road in my rusted-out Ford, shotgun riding shotgun. I was looking for a man named Teddy Calloway, the last guy to go sniffing for the Pine Devil and live to tell it. Calloway was holed up in a derelict hunting lodge, a man who had clearly seen something he shouldn't. He drank like Prohibition never happened and jumped at every creek in the wood. "It ain't no legend," he muttered, tossing back a whiskey. "Saw it with my own eyes." "Saw what?" His gaze darted to the window. The devil, 7 feet tall, skin like bark, but it moves like it ain't part of this world. And its eyes, Mercer, red as a brake light, staring into you like it knows you. "You're telling me a tree is out for blood?" Calloway shot me a look. "You think I made this up? Go find yourself the old church off Route 9. The pastor, Reverend O'Leary, he's been keeping a record. Names of the folks who went missing." I paid for his drink and left him to drown whatever demons were clawing at him. Chapter 2. The Church of Lost Souls. The old chapel stood alone, sagging under the weight of 100 years of bad memories. Inside, Reverend O'Leary was waiting, thin as a rail, hair white as fresh snow. "You're looking into the Pine Devil?" he asked, voice gravelly. "Call me curious." He sighed and unlocked a heavy wooden chest, pulling out a thick leather-bound book. "I've been keeping track of the disappearances. They go back farther than anyone likes to admit." The pages were filled with names, all written with the same chilling note beside them. "Never found." My stomach nodded. "You ever seen it?" I asked. O'Leary hesitated. "I hear it sometimes, late at night. It calls in the voice of the lost." Chapter 3. The Howl in the Dark. That night I camped out where the Reverend said the devil had been spotted. The wind howled through the trees, making the branches chatter like skeletons. Then around midnight I heard it. Not a growl, not a scream, but something between the two. My blood ran cold. I clutched my shotgun, creeping toward the sound. The trees swayed unnaturally, and suddenly I saw them, eyes, burning red through the darkness. I froze. The shape moved, its limbs creaking like old wood, its breath rasping in the night air. I lifted my gun, and then it spoke. "Mercer!" The voice was familiar. Too familiar. I spun, my heart hammering. The red eyes blinked, and I realized it wasn't alone. Chapter 4. The Truth Buried Beneath the Pines. Morning found me staggering into town, shotgun still clutched in my hands. The Reverend met me at the church, his face pale. "You saw it," I nodded, and it saw me. I don't know what I saw out there. But one thing was clear. This wasn't some campfire tale. The Pine Devil was real, and it had been waiting, watching. For someone like me. I walked away from that town and never looked back. Some cases you don't solve. Some you just survive,